This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. The film breakdown for the defense, because as much as we've complained about the offense and quarterback play and it just not being where it needs to be, I don't think this defense played a particularly good game. Now, they did come together, play a little bit stronger in the second half, but I would like to point out that in that second half, there were a number of gaffes by the New York Giants that contributed to the New York Giants not scoring, including Daniel Jones overthrowing players. There was a couple of snafus that happened there. Like, it wasn't just 100% the Browns defense turned it on and dominated the Giants. The Giants kind of turtled in on themselves at the end of this game. So I am a bit more concerned about the defense walking away from this one than I was walking into this game, because this is a little bit concerning. The Giants aren't a good offensive unit in any kind of measurement of the way. They don't have a good quarterback. They should not be able to score as easily as they did, and they shouldn't be able to move the ball as easily as they did. So that's why I'm doing this breakdown this week. I want to talk about some things I thought went right. I want to talk about some things that went wrong on this defensive unit. So let's just kind of check it out here. First thing that I want to point out is that Jordan Hicks did have a pretty strong start to this game that I think does deserve to be talked about. Look at him here, right? He does a great job shooting this gap, getting his tackle for loss. Like, look at his smoothness here, right? Like, I really see why Jordan Hicks is on the team. I thought he did a pretty good job in coverage, too, in this game. And so far in his 10 years of Cleveland Brown, like, I think he's a pretty good linebacker here. I think this is going to end up being a pretty solid signing for the team. All right. So right here is the second play. I think this is the near interception. And this interception almost happens, right? But unfortunately, there is a penalty, I believe. Was it hands to the face or something like that? But there are a couple of things that happen. Hands to the face, Greg Newsome, right? He got his hands in the face of Daniel Jones. It's unfortunate, right? Because if the Browns get this interception, it's very likely they win this game when you see how everything played out. But right here, they get this interception, and it's cool. But I look at this play and I see a couple of things that led to why things went wrong for this Browns defense. One game we're going to play all day here is who is the flat defender. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you play zone, there are different areas of the field that are assigned to certain players. Now, this is, I believe it's a half field defense where you're playing one thing on this side and another thing on this side, right? But when you play zone, there's a couple of areas, right? You can be a deep third safety, so you're going to be in the back on the deep third of the field, or deep half in cover two. And then you have curl flat defenders. It's usually this area of the field, right? Curl flat, which is you're sharing flat responsibility with curl responsibility. So you're playing a little bit off the flat. And then you have just like regular flat defenders, which is rare. You don't usually play a dedicated flat defender. But what was going on with the Browns here is that they weren't having anybody in the flat this whole game. So not Greg Newsome, Martin Emerson is pretty much in zone playing a deep third here. Greg Newsome is in man. He's in man. Like this was a specific adjustment they did for this game. I believe he's in zone here. And then you have some underneath action here. So this is kind of the look you're in. It's kind of like a match buzz 3 technically, because you do have this one-on-one here on the solo side. So it does end up kind of being cover 3 because the corners follow. But that's kind of what you're in right now for the Browns. And again, this works here, especially because Ronnie Hickman buzzes. So what it means when you buzz is usually a safety goes backwards, right? But if you have to buzz, that means you go and buzz in to the box. So you're going to buzz down. Sometimes somebody buzzes down and then you have the linebacker kind of take up that space. Sometimes you just leave that space over there because you're trying to attack something over the middle of the field here. But you see Hickman buzzes down and then he gets replaced by Jordan Hicks. So that's the buzz here, right? So when you see like 3 buzz match, and then you can see here just how this plays out, that Denzel Ward is deep third. Emerson is deep third. So is Jordan Hicks is deep third. He's buzzing down. JOK is curl flat over here. They're blitzing their slot corner, which means look at this part of the field. Look at this part of the field. Because of how the Browns are playing, these corners of the field are going to be open all game. Because they thought that they were going to get attacked in the middle of the field a lot, I'm guessing. But look at this. If Daniel Jones just peeks his head around and sees 17 there, and look, the idea, right, to defend Jim Schwartz here, because he's not incompetent, the idea here, and the reason you're okay doing this, is because the thought is, hey, Greg Newsome is not here covering the flat defender. But since he's so close and he's in this passing lane, it's going to be hard to get this ball to 17. And the Browns are basically betting that Daniel Jones is not competent enough to make such a play. It's still really dangerous because if Daniel Jones just senses this, rolls out, and then finds 17, you are royally screwed. But that's the bet the Browns made. And to Daniel Jones's credit, he beat the Browns on that bet. I bet they went to the iPad after to say, hey, look, 17's open. We could use it. We could use the side of the field all game. This is another example of it, right? Like, again, look at how the Browns are playing in coverage. Look at the down and distance here. I believe it's what, second down? No, third down. So it's third down here. So it makes sense that they're going to give up the flat. And that's fine. I don't mind giving up the flat. But the issue here is that they're not just giving up the flat. They're giving up the first down because we're playing so far away. Like, so far away from the flat. It's one thing if Greg Newsome goes from here and he's like here, because I'm confident that Greg Newsome can size him up, tackle him, get him down here. And that's not going to be a problem. Also, just don't know what that is. That's an ugly bunch that you don't want to see here because you got this wide open and this little out here is going to be open because nobody's underneath it. So not even doing a good job covering that. JOK's got to be a little bit more over here. So I think that's the big problem too. We're not great at running the zone and being in the right spots because I think JOK should probably be a little bit more deep here, right? Probably be deeper in this depth and then should probably be more towards the numbers here. And then that coverage would play out a little bit better. You also have a linebacker one-on-one here, middle of the field, but that's fine. You got Greg Newsome coming to swing over that. So that's why Greg is there. But I think Greg can do that same thing right here. So I just don't think that they got to their landmarks properly in this zone coverage. And I think that's a big issue with this defense when they play zone is that they don't get to their landmarks well. Or they don't commit to their landmarks well. Because it looks like Grant just wanted to make a play here and then boom. All right. So this is play 4. All I have written is can't have this in this situation. Yeah, okay, I remember this one. So the Browns just got a holding penalty. They are in, and you could tell here, they're looking at the sticks. They're in second and like 17. Second and 17. If you just get a tackle here, They're in 3rd and 12, and you're getting off this damn field. But Greg Newsome does a horrible job of realizing what the situation is here. Because there's no reason for Greg Newsome to crash out over trying to get a pass breakup here. There's absolutely no reason for him to do that. But that's exactly what he does here. Look. He sells out. You absolutely don't have to do that. Because the whole concept here is, and I think this was part of what was going on with the Browns. I think the interception that they almost got to start this drive really set the tone for the rest of the game, because the Browns were just thirsty in this game to get a turnover defensively. And I think that added to a lot of the issues that they had here. Because if you're Greg Newsome, you're fine with him catching this ball. You just need to put yourself in a position to tackle it. You don't need to put yourself in a position to break this up. Like, it's okay if he catches it, but why are you taking this angle to try to get a PBU so you can get a 3rd and 17 instead of a 3rd and 12? Like, you're fine with the 3rd and 10 plus either way it happens. Let him get the 6 yards. But instead, you crash out over top of this wide receiver, trying to get a pass breakup. And it's not just Greg that has this problem. The Browns defense really not disciplined this week. And sometimes this happens when you have this many playmakers, right? And crashes out, and then boom. Now that's a 1st down on a 2nd and 17. Shouldn't happen. Cannot happen. Gotta be more situational football, man. Situational football. Like, nobody cares except for Twitter if you get that pass break up there. Nobody's going to complain if he gets that 5 yards, except for like Angry Browns fan 42 that like makes a habit of hating Greg Newsome on Twitter. Like, nobody cares if you get that pass break up. But you know what everybody would appreciate? Just getting that goddamn tackle. Got to get it. Can't let that happen. Basically, what happens here is the Browns put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the line of scrimmage. And they know they have 5. They hope 5's coming. So what they're going to do is identify the mic. And when you identify the mic and you do a slide, that means that that's where the line's going to slide to. So Daniel Jones or the offensive lineman identified this gentleman as the mic. So they slid this thing left, right? So all the protection went that way. And then you have the one guy on an island, which is exactly what the Browns wanted, because they wanted to send 2-on-1 to get this free runner here. The only issue with this isn't the play call. It's who's executing the play call. I don't think this should be Ronnie McLeod that's executing this blitz. I think that should be Grant Delpit. I think that should be Greg Newsome. I think that should be somebody who's a lot faster than Ronnie McLeod, because, I mean, there was no chance of him getting here, and that's a free run. No disrespect to Ronnie. I mean, this is, you're not going to get there. You were never going to get there. But you know who I've seen get there? Grant. You might not be able to disguise JOK over there, but put somebody faster on that. I think that would hit next time. And again, it's a blitz. You're going to give up some room here. Daniel Jones does a good job of identifying that he has a defensive end in coverage and making a quick decision, anticipating that. It's nice to see that. And he gets a nice little play out of it. But yeah, I think that play's fine. I just think they got to change up who's running it. This right here, let's see. Yeah, what is the down and distance here? Let me see if I can get an eye on it real quick. So it looks like it is a 3rd and short. So there we go. We got 3rd and short here. You can see the down marker here, distance here. So we're talking about a 3rd and 4. And this is what I mean with the Browns landmarks being funky in zone. This is where, ooh, that's a horrible line. Let me see if I could use this tool. I'm going to try something new here. Let me try that for free. All right. Never mind. This is just a organic line right here. Boom. So that's 1st down right here. And my number one issue with this is, one, again, look, the Browns are just giving up this part of the field all day with no resistance. Two, they are not at the right landmarks, in my opinion, on this. And three, I don't know if I love this call defensively for this situation. Like, I think this would have called for some man coverage, to be honest with you, to get some pressure on them. You kind of had them back. It's a third down. They're expecting a blitz. I understand. And look, it's obvious that when I watch this game and I watch this game plan, they got caught off guard by Daniel Jones playing better than they expected, in my opinion. Because this game plan screams, oh, it's going to be real easy to confuse Daniel Jones. We only got to take a couple things away. He's not going to be able to throw the ball. And you took a couple things away, and then he found other options here. Another thing I don't love about this is just look how much we're just watching eyes instead of watching what's happening here in the play unfold. But like at one point here, I can point to Martin is watching the field. He's watching the quarterback. Greg Newsome gets caught watching the quarterback far too often, right? So, like, Greg Newsome's watching the quarterback. He don't even realize he's like 5 yards away from 17 right now. Like, it's way too big of a cushion. I'm in this down and distance here. It's like, I would have loved this cushion for Greg Newsome if he would have did it on 2nd and 30 or 2nd and 17 earlier that we showed. This cushion would have been fine. But on a 3rd and 3, like, this cushion is absolutely not okay. Don't even know who's supposed to be responsible for this flat. I'm assuming it's JOK, or maybe JOK is supposed to pick him up, and then that's going to slide over. If that's the case, then that's fine here. Ronnie Hickman is back really deep, but he's a young player playing safety, so I assume that's where he's supposed to be. They're not going to make things too complicated for him, but he's watching the quarterback. He's watching the quarterback, and that's fine, so he should be watching the quarterback. He's watching the quarterback. Like, look how many people are just not even watching the play unfold right now. All right. This guy can watch the quarterback. Maybe this guy could watch the quarterback. You would probably want him to be looking here, but it's just a lot of keeping eyes on the quarterback here. Like, I really think that they thought, like, Daniel Jones is going to stare down everybody and just give you free interceptions all game. Right here, they just get fooled by the play action here. And they get a nice little screen. I think it's JOK that gets fooled hard by the play action. Who is it that gets fooled hard here? Oh, no, JOK doesn't get fooled. So JOK is actually the one guy who doesn't get fooled. My bad. JOK right here, you can see the big-ass helmet. He does not actually get fooled here, and he almost makes one hell of a play here because this is done for. Look at this. I mean, this is exactly what you want to get in this situation, because not only do you get the slip screen, but the Browns blitz to the opposite side. Oh, and then you get Ronnie Hickman caught up in it when he's not even supposed to be down there, right? Because Ronnie Hickman think it's time to run fit. Oh my goodness. So with this play action, you done got the Browns to bite really hard, which is an issue for this team. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys done for. That's 7 of 11, man. That means we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people to make this tackle. 4 people, right? So all 7 of these guys out to play. We got 4 people to make this tackle. Denzel Ward is all the way over here. Martin Emerson is running back this way. So if he comes zeros back, he ain't getting here to at least the 15-yard line. And then maybe Grant Delpit could come in, get an angle, and do something about it. But 85 is probably blocking somebody. This guy's probably blocking somebody. Or if they're not blocking somebody, they're going to run some kind of decoy route that gets them both out the way. So this play just hit. Like, this is one of those plays you call it, and then, like, it's like it hit 777 on the slot machine and just gold coins came out. I imagine that's what happened with Dable's play sheet, because, oh man, you hit the jackpot here. Boom, wide there. And the only thing that could have stopped this play quick behind the sticks is like an amazing effort. Look at this. Look at what JOK almost does here. Like, this is insane that it almost happened. Look, that's incredible to me. He almost makes that tackle to the point where I was mad that he didn't make that tackle when I watched the broadcast. I had no idea what was going on in the back end of this play. But he almost gets there. Look, that is an incredible. Nope. I need people to understand how incredible it is to even miss that tackle. Because really, JOK should have just got washed out here and not even touched the ball carrier. The fact that he even was in a position to trip him up, I mean, that's special. Now, what would be really special, top linebacker in NFL special, is if he actually tripped him up there and stopped it. Unfortunately, he does not trip him up here, and exactly what I said was an issue. Ended up being an issue here, right? You got 7 guys out to play, and the only guy who can make the play is Grant Delpit. And he does, fortunately, come over and make the play. But yeah, if if JOK can find a way to make that play more consistently, to get that little shoestring tackle more consistently, we're talking about the best linebacker in the NFL, but he's not there yet, obviously. All right, and this is another reason why JOK is not there yet. Right here, JOK. I love how fast JOK can move. But this is another reason why he has a little bit of room to grow here. He needs to slow himself down. He gets downhill way too fast here. Way too fast. There's no reason for this. Again, this is like the Greg Newsome thing. Look at the down and distance. It is 2nd and long right now, right? We're talking about 2nd and 12 right now. JOK is trying to take this from 2nd and 12 to 13, 14, 15, to 3rd and 15. But you don't need that. You really don't need 3rd and 15. You're in the perfect position to tackle him right at the line of scrimmage. And you know what I would take any day of the week? 3rd and 12. Again, sometimes the Browns want to play make themselves out of a hole defensively. And I need everybody on this defense to understand. You did not get to where you got to last year by selling out every single play to try to make a play. The plays happen. You made plays organically, but you allowed them to come to you. You didn't try to force them to happen. And right now, they're not playing good situational football right now. They're not playing smart heads up football. Because if JOK was playing smart situational football, he would have realized, hey, I can slow down. Let me square him up and let me use that sideline to run him out here and slow him down instead of trying to crash out and get him to the 1 yard line so maybe you can get a safety on the next play. Like, you're doing too much. Just get the punt and move the game along. But instead, you crash out, you try to get the big play, and you turn what should have been a 3rd and 12 into what ends up being a 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4. Again, look at this. There's no reason JOK should be trying to lower the boom like that right here. Just make the play, man. Just make the play. You're in position, make the play. I think that's like 40% of the defense's problem right now. Now, this is just poor tackling, right? Like, Greg Newsome doesn't crash out here. This is just poor tackling. Got to make that tackle, right? Got to make that tackle. Because if you do a better job of tackling him right there, you can get the stop on 3rd down. This is what the Browns did well last year, is they made these kind of tackles. They're not tackling well either right now. I think that's a big issue for them. But yeah, you gotta slow yourself down, and this defense just overall has to do a better job of tackling. All right, let's play another game of who the hell the flat defender was. Don't know. Who the hell's the flat defender? You tell me. What's the down and distance right here? What do we got here? It's 1st and 10. No flat defender. Just letting it ride. Don't understand it. Don't understand it. Really don't get it here. Hey, look, at least they sent Denzel Ward on the DB blitz here. Like, I like that. And I appreciate that. And then on the other side, you're threatening sending like Grant Delpit. That's much better here because look, Denzel Ward actually does get there and gets the pressure. Unfortunately, Daniel Jones gets the ball off, and shout out to Daniel Jones. Did a good job here. Now, my guess on who the flat defender is supposed to be, right? Because I do think that's where Grant Delpit is supposed to be. That is most certainly where Ronnie Hickman's supposed to be. That is where Jordan Hicks is supposed to be. Same thing with him, right? I think you are the flat defender, Devin Bush. You are either the flat defender or you supposed to be running underneath that, but you just had no hope of getting underneath that. And Grant's supposed to take it down. Somebody's supposed to be there, man. Somebody's got to be there. I think what happens with this defense too sometimes is that some of the players want to defend their crown as the lowest yards allowed champion on defense. So they do things that make it so that you can't get a yard if you try to throw here. But in doing so, you give up bigger opportunities. I just think this defense needs a bit of an ego check, a bit of a reality check. And they need to understand that it's okay to play smart football. Well, no, I don't want to say smart football. That's not an accurate way to describe what I'm worried about. It's possible to not have to try to make a big play every down to be the same dominant defense you were last year. Right now, I think they're trying to overcompensate for a lot of things. They're trying to overcompensate and try to produce at last year's level. I think they're trying to overcompensate for people's dissatisfaction with the offense. And I think they're just doing too much right now. Look, I don't know what happened on this play here. I just have questions, right? One, what the hell is JOK doing on this play? Why is he standing straight up and he's flat footed? I don't know what that technique is. I think he's waiting for that running back. But like, if you feel this guy on your right shoulder, like I don't understand why you would keep drifting this way when you feel that guy there and you know that the only way he can break this route off is this. Like, I don't know what's going on there. Why in the world is Greg Newsome so tight here? Like, you would imagine he's the flat defender. So getting the flat or like getting the gap. Like, I don't know why he's here. It doesn't make sense to me right here. Like Jordan Hicks, where he is, makes sense, but I don't know what the hell is going on between these two. Like, I don't know what the hell happened there. That is beyond me. Okay. So this rep was interesting here because yeah, I think the Browns are a bit too easy to fool here. I mean, look how this sucker didn't they get here. We counted 7 guys on the last play action. This one they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. 6 guys. I think this happens not because the Browns players can't process. They can process fine. I think this happens because they're a little bit too eager to try and make a play to save a drive, right? Or to save a game. I think this is the result of the amount of pressure that's on the defense right now because the offense isn't performing, 1, and 2, the pressure the defense puts on itself based on how they performed last year. So when they do give up a drive like that, they get frustrated and they respond to that frustration by trying to make more and more plays to kind of like get the win back. Just play the game. Y'all lucky here that Daniel Jones can't make that throw. But it should have been a touchdown. Now, this one here I think is interesting because it reminds me of a clip that we saw in training camp that went kind of viral amongst Browns fans with Justin Jefferson and Martin Emerson. Y'all remember this one? Y'all remember that? We'll let it play again. Y'all remember this? End zone rep. I had Tyvis on. He broke the whole thing down. It's a beautiful rep here, right? This is the exact same route that happens here, but Malik Neighbors beats him. We're going to show you how that happens here. But it's the same exact thing that we saw in that training camp clip. So, boom, right here. First thing that goes wrong for Martin Emerson, he doesn't get that punch in, right? You see on the Justin Jefferson clip, he got that punch in, right? So we're going to show it here. Boom, he was able to get that hand on that shoulder and trail, right? You see how he's trailing, but he has his face to Justin Jefferson and he can trail and then boom, box out. Right here, he can't get that hand on his shoulder. Boom. And then Malik Neighbors one-ups him. Not only do you not get that hand on his shoulder, Malik Neighbors, boom, accelerates right past him. Now he's looking for Malik Neighbors, but Malik Neighbors is gone. That, my friend, is a really damn good wide receiver. That's what they look like. Because Martin's playing good technique here, right? Like, he just runs by the punch. Like, I don't even think Martin gets a chance to throw it before the leverage is blown. And he just cooks him. That's good right there. That's just great. Then he gets the 2 feet in on a bad Daniel Jones throw. Like, look at this. This is beautiful. Tight space. Martin knows the technique he has to play to win this route. He's really good at it. He just speeds by it and then wins even with a horrible throw. Browns got caught just thinking Daniel Jones was going to stare down his targets. That's what they got caught doing. Daniel Jones looks him off here. Look at this. Watch Daniel Jones's head here, right? This is what happens. Boom. Daniel Jones starts there, and that moves to safety. Let me pause it and break it down for you. So look, right here, Daniel Jones gets that drop, and then he moves his head real aggressively towards that pylon. Boom. So if we were playing Madden 06, vision cone right here, right? It looks like he really wants that little speed out right there, which means look at where the corner is, right? Or not the corner, the safety. Ronnie McLeod, he playing over because that's where he think the ball gonna go because he's watching Daniel Jones. Then he picks up late. I got Malik Neighbors. I should probably start running the other way. It's too late. It's too late. Got caught peeking. He made you pay. Great play by Daniel Jones. Way to use his eyes and then anticipate somebody. Look at this. Look at this play by Daniel Jones, right? See how he moves his eyes here? Left, right. There's pressure there, but then he anticipates. Boom. Nice. This is a fun game of who the flat defender is. Yeah, don't know who the flat defender is. Right here. If you're having trouble figuring out what I'm talking about, right here. Let's look at this part of the screen right here. Who is the flat defender? I'd have to I have no clue who the flat defender is supposed to be. This is a mess. Look at this. What's the down and distance at least? It's 2nd and 10. So yeah, some of this stuff is schematic, right? When we're talking about where's the flat defender and the Browns not having a flat defender and they're getting beat left and right. I think that has a lot to do with what the game plan was, and that's on Jim Schwartz. Some of this stuff is just getting beat by a great player in Malik Neighbors. Now, the Browns did put Denzel Ward on Malik Neighbors. That seemed to solve the problem a little bit. But also, I would argue there were opportunities for Malik Neighbors in the second half, even on Denzel Ward. It's just that Daniel Jones was not going to get to him in that game here. So some of this stuff is individual. Some of this stuff is schematic, but I don't think any of this stuff that we saw here is beyond fixable. And I mean, you could fix this stuff next week, right? So while I am concerned about this performance from the defense, I think what happened in this game was they got caught sleeping on the Giants. They thought Daniel Jones was going to come in here and gift them 4 interceptions. And Daniel Jones came in here and, to his credit, gave them that work. I think that's really what it boils down to. They thought Daniel Jones was going to come in here and just give it to him, and it didn't happen. And they got their butts kicked in the first half because of it. In the second half, they put a little bit more pressure on him, played him a little bit more normal, stopped trying to read his eyes, and things went their way. And he started to look more like Daniel Jones. But if you just disrespect Daniel Jones and play him like a rookie, he's not a rookie. He's going to do something about that. So that's really all I got. Think the defense is going to be fine going forward. They just got to make sure they take their opponents a little bit more seriously than they did this week. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.